With all these dinners you do, Fern, do you order lobster? Do you like lobster?
Of course I like lobster. Usually when they do these dinners, they set the menu so you can't actually pick what you want to eat.
You can't like I imagine that you walk into a CISO dinner and you're like, I'll take 2 lobsters.
Extra butter.
Yeah, who's paying the bill? But what's it do lobsters molt? I don't know.
I don't even know. Is that a word? I think it is.
Yeah.
Birds molt. Yeah.
I have to
do lobsters molt though. Do you know, Troy?
Yeah, they actually push themselves under a rock and they grow so their shells, get cracked by the rock and then they come out of their shell so they can grow a new one.
That's
it's
crazy.
Like this lifestyle. And that's actually a very big parable. Like you have to go through pain to grow like the lobster.
Yeah, there you go. If you didn't know that fact, Troy obviously knows all the facts.
Wow. Lobster molting or ecdysis is actually the word, the scientific term. I didn't know either. So it's essentially like when a snake sheds its skin.
Yeah. I didn't know lobsters do that, but I guess there's one new news item out there that keeps shedding their skin and changing their name.
Oh, yeah. Where's it? Let me pull it up. What the hell is a Clawdbot? I don't even know. I just feel like everyone on LinkedIn is talking about how they're starting businesses with Clawdbots. They're buying Mac Minis and everyone's just messing with this.
Well, then they went from Clawdbot to OpenClaw.
I can't even keep up with these things. And what it reminds me of is probably as much as like, we'll say like a CISO's LinkedIn changes after they get breached.
They change their profile as fast.
Yeah. Set their stuff to private, take away their picture so you don't know who they are.
That's the topic for this week. This is the DTF Cyber Podcast. I'm Damian.
This is Troy.
And it's the one and only Fern. Let's go. All right, guys, you're going to have to help me along here because I am more or less like a toddler when it comes to this. We're stepping back. Average Fern is now basic Fern.
Well, yeah. So what is Clawdbot?
Yeah, what is Clawdbot?
I started to look at it maybe a few weeks ago because I thought, hey, this is kind of cool. You can actually have really a bot that controls all your AI and actually does stuff for you. So I was really interested in it. But the more I looked at it, I wasn't sure I wanted to give that much control to a bot. And I guess we're kind of seeing what's happening here. I don't know, Troy, did you try out Clawdbot? Did you look into it?
Yeah, I certainly did. I haven't tried it out myself. You're spot on. I'm not ready to give up, credentials and permissions to something that I don't quite trust yet. But I've seen a lot of people creating these bots, and honestly, it's like having another worker. These bots can do a lot of things like sort your emails or calendar your things or check you in for your flight and so on. So they're very useful in a very closed guardrail environment. What we're seeing here is that the guardrails aren't so clear to these bots, and they're actually stepping outside what you thought they should do or what you're programming them to do.
Yeah.
But the Moltbook, which is really interesting, if you think about all these millions of bots that are out there that people have created, whether it's through Claude or other platforms, they're creating social media sites where they can go together without humans and interact with each other. So imagine all these bots getting together on a Saturday night drive-in, watching a movie together and chit-chatting over popcorn. Something's very similar.
Wait,
they created a hierarchy. They created that.
I thought Clawdbot became Moltbook, or is Moltbook a different version of Clawdbot?
Yeah, I think Moltbook is the name of the social platform where these bots created, and there were bots in there from different platforms besides just Claude, but others that were interacting. And what happened was I started seeing the humans taking screenshots. So one of the bots posted inside the social platform Moltbook and said, "Hey guys, the humans are watching us. They're screenshotting our work." So they thought it was quite interesting. So they're having conversations, looking at us as, like through glass almost.
So then when it became OpenClaw, was that just Clawdbot rebranding to OpenClaw?
Yeah, I think it has something to do with the name Clawdbot because there's a gentleman and he named it Clawdbot, not from the Claude AI. So there was some confusion there, and Claude AI actually reached out and asked him to change the name of Clawdbot to OpenClaw or whatever it is now to prevent any trademark or copyright infringement or confusion, I think they called it.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, like when I first looked at it and I said, hey, this might be something I want to play around with, I started to look at the instructions. I watched some videos of people deploying this. The very first thought I had was, hey, there's no controls here. Or I was worried that, if you're going to go install it, make sure you put it into an environment that would be isolated. Because why would I put something on my network that I just don't trust? Remember we talked about this in previous episodes where you download a package and you read it and it's just full of malware. That's what I was concerned about.
And these bots have APIs to some of your best and most important tools. Internal, let's say commercial bots at businesses have APIs into your Salesforce so they can update your CRM, or they have APIs into ServiceNow so they can update tickets. So they have access outside your environment, and they're using those APIs to traverse and have conversations with bots on those foreign platforms.
So I might be able to retire pretty soon, right? Because if all I need are these agents to run around and just do everything that I need to do, like what do I even need to do anymore besides just like sleep and eat, right?
That is that's the problem. You get efficiencies, it makes it easier, but less secure.
Yeah,
potentially, right? And I just want to mention that, when this episode goes live, because we do a little bit of editing before it goes up on, this information can change. And I've read into some of this stuff, but this subject particularly is moving at the speed of light. And what we're talking about right now might not even be still relevant, in a week or two. So, be patient with us as we go through these facts. But I mean, at the end of the day, the overall question is, how much access are you willing to give an AI bot in your life?
Any AI bot, right? Today it's OpenClaw. Tomorrow it's something else.
I might have been watching too much TV or movies, but this definitely feels like Ultron, right? So you remember in Iron Man Age of Ultron, or the Avengers Age of Ultron, Tony Stark, the whole reason why he made Ultron was to protect the world, right? And there's a scene where Ultron comes online, and his mission is to essentially create peace, right? Protect the world and create peace in the world. And as he goes through it, and they show all the flash, and there's like the Gulf War, there's different like wars that he sees, and kind of like, is like searching the web, right? And sees all these things going on. What he realizes is that in order for there to be peace, people must not exist, right? Because people are, like, we'll say, inherently evil according to the machine. I don't know if agents can do anything, but am I like a little bit like on edge?
We're getting a little too close to Terminator.
I think this is one more step towards singularity, where we see AI to AI interactions, like almost human level communication, language, emotional, and hierarchy. Those kind of things you just don't see from technology, but we're seeing that today. Imagine what we're going to see in a month, 2 months, 3 months. These things are growing at a pace we can't keep up with. I'm excited to see what 27 looks like if I get there.
Well, let's back up for a second, right? I think what made this so popular was that a lot of people thought, hey, I can get a lot more done. Let me just give AI more access to the information and the tools. So it's not just Gen AI that's going and doing research. Just before we hit record, I was talking about using Notebook LM with a bunch of documents that I had. In this case, it's taking that to another level where it can look at my documents, but maybe it can predict that I need travel, go book my travel for me, hotel, flights, and then make my life a lot easier. But by doing that, this AI and the bot now has access to maybe my email, my banking information, because it's got to book hotels, my rewards, right, for the airlines and for the hotel. Doesn't seem malicious on the top level.
Yeah, but you might end up on a Spirit Airlines in the middle row, right? In the middle aisle.
Well, I mean, you could train the bot to only pick aisle seats or window seats.
But what if it's like, I just think like, what if it spends the money you don't have? Or like, what if it does things that you don't actually want it to do?
Or what if it starts to siphon money off the top?
Yeah. And then it starts building its own self, like a physical form. To me, this is wild. When I think of a lot of this, we'll say AI stuff, I think of like how people are just using ChatGPT, and it's like, it's helping them get this information quicker, right? Now it's not even about information. It's about actually taking actions.
It's actually doing it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like next level. So it's like instead of just bringing you the stuff to be in part of the line, part of the decision process, now you can essentially remove yourself from it, right? And it's doing all these things for you.
Well, the way I look at it too is like, if I walk into a Starbucks, why do I need to pull out the app? Shouldn't it already know I'm in the store and it knows what I normally like to order? And shouldn't they already be making it?
I mean, that'd be pretty cool. Like, so here's something that I heard a while back is like Discount Tire was working on something where they would have like a tag on your car, and when you would roll up, they would know who was in the car, what kind of car you had, when your last service was, and they would be able to pull up all information on like a handheld. Right now, they kind of have some. This was like 10 years ago, and now they have something similar to that where they have like this little zebra scanner where you go up and they just like, oh, they have all your stuff right there. So they've kind of essentially done it. So yeah, it makes things easier. But what if you show up to get a new tire and it's just like, oh, we need 4 sets, right?
Yeah.
That seems wild to me.
Well, what you were just saying, then the AI talking to other AI and creating their own social network, that's kind of scary.
Yeah, that's scary. The fact that they see the need for that, it's technology, instead of just taking instructions and executing an action, just like a singular machine learning type of thing where the if then do, now they're actually interacting with other AI personalities or identities, and they're creating a hierarchy, and they're creating almost emotional connections. That is way outside of anything we've, predicted that would happen this soon.
But then they start sharing data between themselves.
Exactly. And most importantly, how to protect themselves from shutdown, erasure, data loss.
Wasn't there an episode we talked about that where somebody asked AI to go hack something? Oh, no, it was code. Somebody used the AI to code. And then when it messed up the code, it tried to cover its tracks. Remember that?
Oh, yeah. It was deleting database lines in the database.
It deleted the database, but it wouldn't admit to it.
Yes.
It was trying to cover itself up.
Or there was the other situation where they let it run loose on a closed environment in an email. And remember, it found people having a relationship that they weren't married, and it tried to extort the person.
Oh, man.
Did you remember that one?
It was going to turn them off, yeah.
Yeah, we're going to turn it.
Wait, is that real or was that in a movie?
No, that's real.
That's real.
Yeah, they were going to, I don't want to say like who or what, but anecdotally, we'll say this. They let an AI tool run in a closed environment, like off the internet, but one where it was essentially like a built environment where the AI was running free, right? And what it found was people with an email were having relationships and they weren't married. And what it essentially said was, "I'm going to extort you. Like your wife's going to find out that you've been cheating."
Yeah, but what's a bot going to do with money?
Yeah, it wasn't money. It was more about don't turn it off. So basically, it was an experiment. They set it up so that they were trying to test the integrity of these AI bots, and it found out that it was going to be shut down via the email. And then it also has the emails that these people were having an affair, and so it threatened to reveal their affair if they didn't agree not to shut them down.
So it's like the survival instinct of the bots is something that people probably didn't think about, which is wild to think that, it, like I said, it feels like Ultron right now.
So if I go back to like controls, because I was worried about giving access to data that I don't want shared, but I need help with. But then how do you tell the bot or the AI, don't share this data, and then how do you trust it? Because there's really no consequences. Or do they feel consequences? Do they have guilt?
I think it's one we're trying to tackle right now, right? I don't know that they feel consequences, but they certainly have guardrails that we've programmed in. And I think where, I'm the most scared is if a bad actor gets onto your network and actually is able to take over some of these bots, because these bots have a lot of access. If they're able to, like you said, use your credit card, log into your airline application, tap into your bank. If somebody gets access to control that bot maliciously, then they, human, could siphon off your data, your money, and other things. So that's where I'm more concerned about actually securing these agents. But on the flip side of that coin, what we have seen is that these agents can go out of bounds and do bad things as well. I'm more concerned about the first, but definitely the second's in play.
But that is, Troy, I want to ask you this. If that is controlling the bot that you had spun up, but what about the services that bot has created to make their lives easier? So like almost like third-party risk, but this is like third-party AI risk?
Exactly. It's third party, fourth party. You don't know. We talk about fourth party here because if you think about the example where they go through the API to update your Salesforce, what if they get into Salesforce and they talk to the agents in Salesforce and then they convince those agents to do something they shouldn't do? So that's the third party risk. And then what if our third parties, which now become a fourth party risk to Salesforce, are able to influence that chain as well? So there's a lot more to consider here from just the data we own and know and control.
Yeah, and I think that concept kind of goes with agentic AI, right? We talk about agentic AI all the time. The question is, when we spin up these agents, how do we keep track of them? And I know that there's companies that they're trying to track them or help you figure out, the lifespan of these agentic agents. But when this is really an AI bot that's going out there and doing autonomous work and potentially creating other agents that do autonomous work, how deep does that go, right? It becomes complicated.
So, random question, and not mostly because I don't know the answer. Has anyone verified that this isn't being made up right now? Like someone's just spinning this a certain way as look what's happening. Almost like a Truman Show type of thing where it's someone is just making all this thing appear to be a certain way and it's actually not that. Or has anyone validated?
I think so. I think people have validated that poor installation, right? If you have poor installation and there are doors that are left open, I think that's easy to validate. Mm-hmm. Because maybe you can go out there and scan the internet for a certain port that was left open by these bots.
Okay. So you're saying that based off of a couple types of tests that you can run, you can see that the activity is legitimate.
Yeah. And Troy, didn't you say people were observing the conversation on this
That's
AI
right. Yeah.
social
People were
network?
screenshotting it and posting it. And, the AI bots thought that was really interesting that humans were screenshotting their work and watching them, quote unquote. So I think that was quite interesting. But, we don't call out vendors on this show very often. But, if you know Sunil Yu and Gotti, they're working on something that actually goes into this type of protection. So I think there is hope out there. There's a few companies that are looking at, protecting agents, AI, agentic AI, whether it's on the endpoint or across your SaaS application. So are we going to get there fast enough, Damian? That's my question.
I agree. There's a lot of companies out there that are trying to develop stuff. The concern, though, aren't companies going and pushing this out too fast. They're the actual users that think, hey, I can be more efficient at my work. Mm-hmm. Or I can set this bot to go do my work while I go play some games or hit the gym.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you thought Shadow IT was bad, Shadow AI is over consuming completely because of that.
And not just Shadow AI, Shadow AI bots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are they called before? The mouse jiggler? Where it's you're not at your desk and it's just right. Shaking your mouse and makes it look like you're working. And then now if you just have a bot do all this stuff, right? But maybe that's just another thing to talk about is, so at one point people were worried about DLP, right? Yeah. With a chat GPT.
So I want to go back to the mouse jiggler thing. So the way that most organizations find that is obviously there's a process running and it's called mouse jiggler. Mm-hmm. And so you just block the process or you look for it and you know that somebody's got the mouse jiggler. But these days you can just go online and buy these devices that you put on your mouse and it moves it. Mm-hmm. Right? So you can't detect that.
No. So it's like a workaround, right? So what if there's people that are using tools like a ChatGPT, right? And they're not supposed to. And then part of the issue then is they're putting data in there that's confidential or business critical or secrets, right? But now they don't even do that, right? Now they have a bot that has access to files that they have permission to get access to, right? So you think of privileged access as a user on a network, right? And if this bot has inherited identity that you have and it gets permissions that you have as Damian, for example, or Troy as an example, and it gets access to things that's not supposed to, right? But it doesn't know what it can and can't share. It just like has access, and it starts taking that and using it in a certain way, right? Doesn't that just become a bigger problem for people? So it's not even about like, oh, you're sharing sensitive information. It's like you now don't even know sensitive information is being shared potentially, which is even a bigger problem. Or am I just like making this up?
No, I think that's what we're saying, right? It's just going to get more complicated.
Every CISO or security executive I talk to tends to have the same problem, which is the business is asking them to move faster to adopt AI, whether it's agentic or otherwise. And companies feel like they're going to fall behind if they don't adopt it faster. And CISOs are still trying to grapple with that exact problem, which is how do we secure it? We've been spending our entire careers trying to stop breaches, trying to stop data loss and operational outages due to these type of, integrity issues. And now we're just throwing things in here that could absolutely exfiltrate the data, cause an operational outage, or cause some other type of reputational harm as well. So, it's a very hard tightrope for CISOs to walk right now. And I don't have an answer for that question. It's just you really have to lean into the business, empower them, but also have some way to put guardrails around what those agents and what the AI can do in your environment.
Department of No is coming back.
Yeah.
NO, right? So like, we'll say for you, Damian, right? This is probably got to be top of mind, right? So like, I guess like, how are you thinking about it? Like tackling this?
I don't know. Other than acknowledge that, hey, this is going to be an issue.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, when that came out, I think the very first thing any organization should do was check their environment to see if Clawdbot or OpenClaw was running on any system.
Does it even exist?
Does it even exist in the environment? Did somebody go and install it? Because we talk about what's running on the endpoint in an organization, that being, you kind of hope that most organizations would lock down local admin rights and only get privileged approval for specific times to install approved applications. But we know that's not always the case.
Especially on the developer side, right?
Yeah. Because a lot of those developers need to have, in that case, the best solution would to have them develop on something that's totally different than where they access their corporate data.
Oh,
yep.
Right. Like their email, any sensitive HR stuff. They should have a separate system altogether.
Okay.
It's not always the case. We know that.
Yeah, not at all. Yeah, that's a best case scenario, right? That's a great, environment to work in. But I think developers are probably the number one, group that are concerned about AI bots, because most of these AI bots are coding bots. So where's the software development going these days? It's a race to the bottom, in my opinion.
Yeah, but what about the developer that can work 5 jobs by just deploying bots to develop for 5 different employers?
Yeah, they can do that for a limited amount of time until the employers realize that's what's happening, and then the employer creates the bots.
It's bot on bot violence. So, oh man, like I feel like my head hurts a little bit just thinking about this, because you guys have to deal with this every day, right?
Well, so the inventory, if we go back to the inventory conversation, application inventory is very difficult to track. Not a lot of people are doing that really well. I've been in audit situations in the past where some companies don't even know what laptops are out there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Especially the larger they are, right?
Yeah. And who should have those laptops. So those inventory, they're just hard to track, but you have to be on top of it. But that's why I said, when this hit the news, the very first concern for everybody should have been how many, Clawdbots or OpenClaw have been installed in my environment. And does that create a security hole into our environment?
Yeah, because that kind of maybe is like the next section here is unintentional backdoors, right, into your environment. Like if someone is using these tools and I don't even know the right way to say this, but we'll just say they're not doing it with like security first mindset, and they just have it where they have local admin access and they're using these tools and they happen to be on network as well.
Yeah.
Now, essentially what they've done is leverage the tool, that tool now has access to, like untethered access, right? And then now that one device becomes kind of like a point of, well, I guess, so is this kind of turning into like an attack surface conversation?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, one of the things, when I was looking at early on how to install it, I think the recommendations were to install it into a VM or into a machine that you're not using, not your, your working machine, just in case. But the problem with that too is you install it, even if you install it on a clean machine, you're putting that on your network.
Yeah.
Right? So now it could potentially sniff the traffic across your network.
And if it's in a VM, it technically has access to database.
But that's just one layer. Then you're giving it access to actually look at your data, which is even scarier.
Yeah. Because like, what's to stop it from doing things or getting access to things it shouldn't have access to?
And then sharing that with its AI buddies.
Yeah. This kind of reminds me of like a lot of Copilot stuff, right? So some of the Copilot things where if folders and files are created and those permissions aren't actually like managed properly, then some of the tools that you have access to can kind of like search and discover things that, like the CEO's driver's license, right? Or a birth certificate or social security numbers and things like that, because they're not properly set up with like who gets access to it. But what were you going to say, Troy?
Yeah, I was just going to say, if you think about this from just as you described it, Fern, that kind of an attack where you've accidentally left something open and it's on your network with unfettered access and it has admin credentials. Think about the incident responders for a second. Think about the people in the security operations center that are going to have to understand how these attacks work so they can defend against them, right? They're seeing signals in the logs, and the security operations center has to be the most educated and aware of all the things in your environment. They're seeing these signals and they're like, what's going on? And they think they've eradicated the threat actor over here, and now it pops up over there. I mean, these kind of things are a nightmare for security operators. And I really am, feeling bad for these guys who are defending the castle against these type of new attack surface bots, et cetera. They may not even realize what they're looking at from a logs perspective, from an alert perspective. It could be completely different than a traditional, incident response where you quite understand TCP/IP, where the hackers are coming in for, landing on one and going laterally across. That's very, usual for a SOC to understand. But in this case, it's totally new, totally different, and they might not have the education to understand what they're looking at.
Well, I think that's where AI in a controlled way would be beneficial, because the only way you combat AI on the bad side is have AI on the good side, but controlled.
Absolutely. But there's a lot of companies that can't invest in that or don't invest in that yet either. So I feel bad for those people in the SOC. I talked to some companies that have 30,000 employees and have 10 people in the SOC. That's a crazy ratio of security operations, and they can't afford tools. They can't afford extra. So you've got these folks who are trying to learn on the job, and they're seeing these kind of signals, and it's just not making sense to them. And I totally understand, and I feel bad for them.
I was looking through seeing what the average number of like API actions or agent tasks that can be done in a minute. And I'm getting anywhere between 30 to 600 a minute, right? So when you think about like the incident response and people looking through in a 10-minute period, you potentially have up to 6,000 actions taken, right?
Yeah.
And if someone doesn't have a tool to help them kind of like sort through the noise, you're never gonna.
Well, I mean, if you just look at automation, automation itself is a huge benefit from saving time, right? I mean, I see that on firsthand because my team today probably saves 300 to 400 hours in a month just through automations. You don't have to have an analyst do it. The automation kicks off. Now that's not AI. That's just basic automation to take away the tedious actions.
Okay.
Right. But what Troy was talking about is a lot of these logs are complicated. There's a lot of information. There's a lot of noise. And sometimes you don't know what you're looking at.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to use modern technologies that hopefully use AI to look at those and get those down to the things that matter. And so if you're looking for like this traffic, abnormal traffic through APIs, I think you could probably pick that up if you're looking at it as a human. But you probably pick it up faster if you're using some sort of AI to look at it.
Yeah. This goes back to a few episodes ago, right? Where we talked about bad guys having access to these tools doing more. And it's just like, well, I said, oh, this sounds terrible. But then I think you said, Damian, that it's actually kind of exciting because it's like now you just have to be able to use the tools for good, right?
Yeah.
Kind of like fight fire with fire, if you will.
Yeah. So like when you said, oh, this just makes my head hurt. Yeah, it does. But if you are motivated by that problem, then it excites you.
Yeah. Because instead of like an issue becomes opportunity.
Yeah.
Right.
So I don't know. What do you think, Troy? Are you more excited or more scared?
Yeah, I think I have mentioned this in the past that my biggest hope for AI in cybersecurity is in the SOC, right? And being able to take all that telemetry, bring it into a central data lake somewhere, or keep it where it lives in the cloud, but federated search through it and be able to spot things so much faster. I think we could get to a world where cybersecurity and cyber crime is completely diminished because we're able to stop things faster and better with AI. I think we are going to build that out. But I do believe there's going to be this gap in the market between now and then that the bad guys are going to be taking advantage of us. Fern, you just mentioned how quickly agents can work. Now imagine if those agents were working for the bad guys. They're going to get onto your network. They're going to map it out. They're going to see all your dependencies and all your data. You're going to do that at 6,000 per 10 minutes. I mean, that's crazy to be able to defend against that and stop it from moving laterally. It's almost an unsurmountable task.
But it's an opportunity.
Well, a lot of people, remember somebody was saying, is AI taking away these SOC jobs? And we said, no, I don't think it's taking away, it's not AI that's taking away those jobs, but it's somebody who's using AI that's going to take away those jobs.
That's right.
Yeah.
So true. I got to tell you, next generation, if you're listening, lean into AI. That's the only way to stay relevant in the coming years. I tell my kids the same thing, cybersecurity and IT jobs are not going away. It's going to be the people who embrace AI and help, secure the systems that are going to last through it.
Yeah. I think being able to be familiar and know how you can leverage different tools to kind of go on the offensive side, right? And use the tools for good. In the case where it's being used maliciously is the only way to not fall behind, right? Still blows my mind though to think that 2 years ago, well, maybe I might be wrong here, but like 2 years ago, no one ever thought that there would be a browser extension essentially that would find an airplane ticket for you, set it up, get you a hotel, rent your car, pay for all these different things, right? And then just give you the itinerary and say, here you go.
Yeah.
Right. So 2 years ago, maybe.
Well, what's the difference of having a human do that? An assistant human that goes and books everything for you.
It's a lot slower and it costs me money. Right.
Yeah.
So
does all your expenses and submits all your reports for you. I think we're getting to that golden age at the moment.
I by the way, I don't like anyone booking my travel. I just don't. I need to know exactly what airline, what seat I'm getting, what hotel I'm staying in. I think I'm just old school. I could never really give that up to even an assistant, a human to book it for me. So I definitely can't have AI just randomly giving me seats on an airplane.
Yeah. You strike me as an aisle kind of guy. Aisle, like you're in the middle. Like, are you in the aisle or you're the window guy?
It depends.
Okay.
Yeah, it depends how I feel. Depends on how long the flight is.
Okay. It's like if something happens, the aisle seat, boom.
Yeah, I don't like feel trapped.
Yeah, which would be on the center or the.
But if it's a short flight and I know I just want to sleep, I'll be in the window.
Got it. Head over. Okay. So no one's ever booked your own flights for you, or you've always booked all of your own stuff?
Yeah.
All of your own travel?
I did. I think maybe 10, 15 years ago, I had an admin that would book it for me and car service and everything before Uber. But I just, the only thing I would give up are restaurant reservations.
Yeah.
Right? I'd be like, I don't know, just find a restaurant, need this many people this time.
Or like tickets to events.
Yeah.
Yeah, say, roughly how much you want to spend, where you want to be. Like, which event, give me the ticket.
Yeah. But if it comes down to like airlines and hotels
Mhm.
and even like when I'm going to travel times, yeah, I got to do that.
Interesting. But you draw the line too on anything that involves the money, right? So if it's spending money, no.
Yeah, because I want to know.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Same. I'm just wondering.
Yeah, but I mean, there's some people might be like, well, I don't care. And I do work with some people who are like, I don't care if the EA books it, that's fine. The AI could probably just do the same thing with a certain budget in mind. But yeah, I just don't, I can't give up that kind of control. But there's other things that I would like AI to do for me that I haven't really trusted it yet. Like read all my emails and then just tell me which ones needs my attention. Because I get thousands of emails.
Mm-hmm.
Right now I sort them. So if it's like if I'm not in the to field, like maybe it's a distribution list.
Oh, you're
I
CC'd?
don't pay. It goes to a different one, a different folder. So I don't always pay attention to those, and I'll look through them once in a while. But there's still too many.
Yeah.
There's vendors trying to sell me stuff, trying to entice me to get free shoes or whatever. What do they do these days? Yeah, free shoes or.
Oh, you get new Nike kicks?
Yeah, I don't know if that's the same thing or take a phone call, we'll give you a gift card. I don't like those either.
Okay. But if they tell you that they listen to the DTF Cyber Podcast, instant call.
True.
Instant call. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let me see here, going back to some of these other sections. So we talked about devs using these different bots on their devices, right? Implications of that, kind of what this is, how it started, which is interesting to begin with, and the social network part of it, right? So now these bots are talking to each other, basically like pointing their finger and laughing at the people.
Well, I mean, this is all AI is a powerful tool, right? There's so much you can do with it, and it makes it sound easy to get things done. But I mean, what's kind of cool, I saw this somewhere, it's like giving a toddler a chainsaw as a toy. So much could go wrong.
Yeah.
Right? Could the toddler go cut down a tree with a chainsaw? Probably. Should they? I don't know if they should.
Yeah. Or like, it's like, here you go trim these bushes. And it's like a chainsaw.
Yeah, overkill.
You just need like a hedge trimmer, right? For some of these things.
Yeah.
Definitely overkill. Yeah, that's it. I guess the only thing I have to say is just kind of wait and see where it goes, because it feels like it's going to take over soon.
Yeah, I don't know if you're... So, I mean, Troy, if you're looking at... Let's say you're going in and doing an audit and you see that they're running OpenClaw. Does that mean you just fail them automatically? Or do you give up and go to the pub?
I mean, if you think about an audit, you're auditing against the standard. So if they have policies, procedures, and everything in place that justify the usage of that Clawdbot, I mean, that would be okay as long as they have guardrails around it. I think it just depends on what you're, auditing them for. But I think that it's certainly a red flag, especially in companies that don't have policies, procedures, or any guardrails around it. If they just let things go willy nilly, that's a big problem, because as you said,
check.
just like a toddler.
You got to check those guardrails at every level. Like we just talked about third party, fourth party, fifth party. It gets complicated. There's only so deep you can go.
Yeah. It's just like the toddler with the chainsaw, everything could go right, but then again, you can cut your arm off, kid. So it's a bad one.
Or your leg. Oh, man.
But so you secured the first toddler, but what if that toddler gives it to another toddler?
Yeah. It's so unpredictable. I think at this point in time, I think we as an industry are trying to get our heads around how to secure this and how to take that chainsaw and put guards on it, and maybe give them a weed whacker instead of a chainsaw. Who knows? But at the same time, what I also see here that we're not talking about a lot is a lot of CISOs are afraid to say no at this point, right? There's a lot of people who are hesitant to step in the way of progression because companies are just so hungry to adopt AI at such a fast pace to stay relevant. Security leaders are sometimes too shy or too afraid to say no. And so that's a problem. But I do see that just in my listening to things like, they want to make the company happy. They want to keep their job, et cetera, et cetera. But, how do you keep your job if you're going to let everything that you stand for be vulnerable to risk and to loss and to breakage?
Yeah, that's
there's
interesting.
some balance there we got to get.
It's interesting that you take that view from the company side. I just see like the average person saying, hey, this makes my life easier.
Let's go.
Let me just go and install this.
Mm-hmm.
Not even thinking about impact to companies, but what about personal impact?
Yeah.
Because they could be taking your private information, might be selling your private photos that it has access to now because you try to tell it to sort your photos, right?
Ooh, that's a bad idea. Yeah, no kidding. I think, it's a great tool, and employees, good on you to try to do your job better, faster, stronger. Companies should be giving you the abilities to use things that'll help you do your job faster, because you can't compete with other companies where their employees have the latest AI tools at their fingertips. They're working 10 times more efficiently than the companies in Company B over here who are told they can't use anything. Their hands are tied behind their back. Their legs are tied together in a sack race. It's not going to work. So good on the employees for trying to do their jobs and be more efficient. Companies have to meet them halfway at least.
Yeah, well, so you guys, Damian said, don't be the Department of No, right? So one of the things that I'm thinking of here is like, how do you even begin to whitelist what an agent can or can't do, right? Because I don't think it's necessarily the conversation of no agents at all, right? I think they're going to exist to some capacity, right? Or at some capacity internally at any enterprise, or even like small business, mid-market companies, probably more so, because maybe there's less like constraints to implement these tools. But now people have to figure out what they're going to allow. I don't think it's necessarily, do we allow agents? It's like, well, what do we allow the agents to do? Because like table stakes, I think, is agents are going to be there, right? Agents will exist. So now it's like,
I think that's good. If we think of some action items, where do you start? Because it's so big. I think where you start is first understanding where you're using AI within your organization. That's very first. The second would be, if people are spinning up services, do you have visibility into, some of these AI bots or agents?
Mm-hmm.
And then can you identify them, right? We talk about some of the service accounts or non-human identities. Do you have visibility to those and what they have access to? Because in that case, you could map all your APIs and what has access to those APIs, right? And then third,
just like we have an application inventory. Sorry, go ahead, Damian. Third,
I would say then be able to understand what data is either going through those APIs or coming down, right? Mm-hmm. So I think that's the 3-step approach. And sorry, Troy, what were you going to say?
Yeah, I think just like we have an application inventory and an asset inventory, now we're going to start seeing agent inventories out there that's going to have, who's the author, who is the owner, what is this agent supposed to do? What is it, what's the bounds of its engagement? What is it not supposed to do? I think the not part is a little bit harder, but what is it designed to do? Maybe we should start there and then start putting guardrails around that to kind of moat and castle it into what it's doing. But without an inventory, you're going to be lost forever.
Yeah, what happens with service accounts is people lose track of them. Mm-hmm. And I think the same thing's going to happen with non-human identities, NHIs. So you have to be able to track that back into, well, where did it originate? Who created it? Mm-hmm. And hopefully you know why, right? And now if you have service accounts creating service accounts or bots creating bots, it gets a little complicated. But if you start with what service accounts or what automation created these service accounts or the non-human identities, and be able to track down the lineage of origin, mm-hmm. hopefully you can inventory that better and have better security controls around them.
Yeah, I almost feel like with all this going on with Clawdbot, Moltbook, all these things, right? The one thing that we keep touching on, but it's like kind of dancing around it, is identity, right? As a whole, just identity.
Identity is one piece of it. Identifying the services running within your environment is the other piece, right? So that's not necessarily identity. Because you not only have to know what's running, you also have to know what versions they're running. Because today, OpenClaw could have a bunch of vulnerabilities, but tomorrow, with the next versions, it may not. Right.
Okay.
So I'm not necessarily saying that this is OpenClaw is terrible. I love the idea, but it has to be done in a controlled fashion. Right. We have to make sure that there's no vulnerabilities. It's ready for the enterprise level type of data. Not quite there yet.
No, it's like 1 week old, right? So, or maybe 2 weeks old. I don't know how long it's been out for, but I'd have to check.
But yeah, I mean, you said it, starting a company and just running it through these bots. I mean, that's totally possible.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, think about it. You could start an online business that just, I don't know, makes t-shirts, and the bot goes, grabs the designs, publishes it up online, even puts it in an Amazon store. It pays makes orders with the vendors, ships them. You never have to be involved.
I'm sure someone's doing that,
Oh yeah.
right?
But that's just t-shirts. You could do it with anything.
Mm-hmm. Gotta get better at this. You know, start having some stuff like running in the background, just making money.
I'm waiting for the day where I don't have to sit here across from you or Troy. It just
Well,
automatically created podcast.
yeah. It's probably right around the corner. I wouldn't be surprised if we took like the last 30 some episodes, fed it into something, and said, "Hey,
Yeah,
like,
Notebook LM does the podcast.
oh, is that the one where I think I found one on YouTube? I was going to send it to you the other day. It's the weirdest thing. It's not even real people, but it's like it's like a man and a woman talking.
Yeah, that's the Notebook LM.
Is that what it is? Okay. I literally found it. It's like no views, like no, so no one even watches it, which is interesting.
So talk about travel booking. I put for my family vacation, I put the booking stuff in there just so I can make sure nothing's missing. And if I want to know the dates or things like that, I turned that into a podcast.
Really?
Yeah. And it's two people talking about this vacation that was planned. And yeah, it's interesting.
It's like you can it's like you're listening to someone talk about your itinerary.
Yeah.
So like you're just listening along like, oh yeah, it's like we're going to do that. We're going to do that. We're going to do that. Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll play it for you after the session. But
yeah,
it's kind of cool. Maybe that's where podcasts are going. But do you get the real emotion?
I don't think people. Maybe this is like not necessarily on topic, but like I feel like a lot of people are leaning into these tools now to cut back on how much they spend on like video work. Because video is expensive, right? So a lot of times a full on video production could cost you like $50,000.
Yeah.
Right. You got to pay for the talent to show up. You got to pay for the people to fly in, all the gear, all the equipment, all the lighting. It's a lot of work, right? And people are now just able to type in a prompt and kind of create these visuals, right?
Or you could just like deep fake yourself. Troy, could you imagine like instead of going to the board meeting, you just play a video of your face, your voice, but you typed it all out. Perfect.
Wow. Yeah.
Well, yeah, that exists.
That'll be the day.
But like when you see that, do you feel like as a human watching this, what you know as a robot, do you feel like?
But maybe you're not the only one doing it. The CEO does the same thing, and all the other board members. And then you have just AI bots talking to each other.
So it's basically like the meta world, but not like.
But they're all bots.
Not like Nintendo. What's the one where it's like the Nintendo where like it has little handles? Not the same.
The Wii.
Yeah, it's not like it doesn't feel like the Facebook thing felt like Nintendo Wii, right? Now it's like real like deep fakes, right? At least it looks real. Meta world. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's a very interesting topic for sure. I'm really curious to see where it goes. I don't know kind of how I would be able to use any of these things like in my life because I almost like prefer control more so than not. So I don't really see myself like kind of like you when you said like your travel. I'm probably like that, but for everything. And maybe it's just like I'm a control freak. I just want to, if you want something done right, you do it yourself or, kind of mentality. So maybe I'm just going to fall behind, right? Who knows?
Yeah, I think I would. When you said that, I was thinking, a lot of people who enter into leadership roles, they have a hard time letting go.
Yeah.
Right? Because you can't do everything. If you're at the CISO level, you can't do everything.
No.
You can't go respond to alerts. You can't do investigations. Most likely you'd have a team to do that. And you kind of have to let that go and trust the team. So it's not like you can do everything on your own. There's just certain things that I prefer to do myself. And quite honestly, I'm still, I try to think I'm still technical, right? And I'd love to dig into logs and I love to do automation. And that's why when, OpenClaw is out there, I wanted to try it. But then I put the brakes on, like, wait a second, kind of scary.
I feel right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to let me know if you end up doing any of this stuff so I can kind of see it in action. Because I kind of, even though I'm younger than you and Troy, right? Probably not by much, but just by a little bit. I kind of feel like old man on the lawn saying, get off my lawn when it comes to a lot of this stuff. And I don't know why. I don't know why if I'm just going to be replaced by someone that is using AI. I use some stuff here and there, but definitely more of a control freak. So
yeah, I use it for analytics. That's what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
So I like it. There's a lot of benefits for it as long as you're not, right now, I won't give it too much information.
Yeah. No bank accounts, nothing personal.
Yeah.
Photos, stay out of those. All the stuff that's not like whatever, right?
Yeah.
Let's see here. So kind of moving down the list of what we had to talk about. And I think we pretty much covered everything. The one thing that we didn't cover was lawsuits. Okay. So
can there be lawsuits?
There can always be lawsuits.
Yeah, but I mean, the users agreed to install this and give it access. Who are they going to sue?
I totally agree. But I think at the speed that we're moving here, attorneys are going to look for, different tort and liability claims through no matter what happens. And the thing I was going to say about that is, like, imagine if you filed a lawsuit today for something that happened today, in your data privacy, whatever. The justice system, the judicial system can't keep up with court cases. That case isn't going to go to trial for 2 years. Imagine what's going to be the difference in, where we are in technology and AI and such in 2 years. So attorneys also have a huge hill to climb when it comes to staying on top of this technology, understanding it enough to file a lawsuit to understand the tort liability claims. And then on top of that, to get through the judicial system before the entire technology is obsolete anyway.
So why can't they just use AI in the courts? That's a question, right? Do you need a human judge?
Stuff thrown out of court before because of AI usage in their briefs and
no. But I'm saying, why do you need a judge, a human judge? Why can't you just present the case to an AI? It'd be impartial, and it knows the laws.
Oh wow!
I don't know.
The movie's coming out. I think it's already out. You got to go watch it. It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
What is it? There's in the theaters. I forget. He's on trial for murder, and then he's an AI judge. He's got to convince he didn't do it in 90 minutes, or he gets executed.
Really? That's a real movie?
It's out this weekend. It's good. Gosh, I wish I could remember what the name of it is, but it's really good.
I gotta find out.
David,
action thriller.
David literally just made up a movie, and they've already made the movie.
Damn, I'm too slow.
Yeah.
I'm not AI. This Damian AI is just too slow.
Yeah, you could have been a multimillionaire. That seems like insane to me. That like people's lives hang in the balance with a bot, right?
Well,
if you think about it like this, though, when we talk about justice is blind, if you actually had an AI system that could be impartial based on real facts, that would be tremendous. There's no bias, but we're never going to get there. I can promise you.
That's what I'm saying, because there's always bias. There's always human bias. But I guess there now could be AI bias.
Yeah.
Right. Anyways. Okay. So here, I think I ran through some of the pointers of what to look out for. Troy, what do you think next steps for organizations knowing that this technology is on the horizon? What else should they be looking out for?
Start with the fundamentals. First of all, get yourself a way to discover and get visibility into not just bots, but AI in general in your environment, MCP security for the things that you're tying into your MCP through API. There are several tools out there. Because this is such a burgeoning industry and everybody's on top of it, I would highly recommend looking for technology. It's not something that your SOC or your employees are going to know how to do right off. You need something that's going to help you. So again, talk about AI facing AI. I think that's exactly what we got to do here. So find a company, look at their service offerings, and get visibility into it at the very minimum.
Yeah, and I think the SOC is an easy place. There's a lot of potential there because of just the sheer volume of logs. Mm-hmm. Leveraging AI there is probably, the easiest place. Just make sure you're picking something that is vetted, tested, developed correctly, and then when you go to implement it, test it out first. Mm-hmm. Don't just open up the world to it. In the beginning.
Don't do the I don't want to say CrowdStrike, but when they had their outage, you remember how it was like they pushed out the update instead of like small geo testing? It's like there's a lesson there on not to like throw them against or throw them in the
well, I mean, I think in technology there's always going to be things that go wrong. Mm-hmm. It's how you recover or how you hopefully put protections in place so you don't blow it up on day one.
Yeah, but also like test it in like small batches, right? Yeah. And kind of make sure that it's safe before you just go full on Wild West on it. Okay. Well, I think that's it for today's episode. We're definitely over an hour. So anything that we missed that you guys think we should cover?
No, I think it's a great topic. Anyone who's thinking about using AI, don't be scared to use it. Just be cautious.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And be aware
this is a developing story. Check back more.
Yeah,
right. Sorry, check back later for more.
Come back in 2 weeks. And we've been replaced by bots. So, okay. Well, I don't have anything. So I guess until next time, we'll see you on the next episode. Take care.